Today I want to talk about being an introvert and what it means to me and some of the parts that I like about it and some that I don't. I have this metaphor and I feel like I'm a little child inside and I'm watching the other kids through a window. And at times, if you see that things are going bad or, they're fighting, you feel good. You're at a safe distance. Being introverted feels like a safe thing. And it also feels nice to have the freedom to operate on your own rules, on your own time. That part I like, but damn, there's like this downside. For me, maybe other introverts don't feel this way, but shit, sometimes when I see kids in groups having fun, or for a real life example, when people go to raves in groups of like 10 or more, birthday parties, man, I really, honestly, I envy that. And sometimes it kills me inside. I'm like, shit, I wish I had that, Wish I had a large social circle. But in the end, I guess the next point I want to make is like, it's not like I chose this anyway. It's not like you have this point in your life where you're like, all right, so do you want to be introverted or extroverted? Maybe if that's the case, I never asked myself that question. It always just was. So going back to my youth, sorry to repeat this, but yeah, I was all fucked up since 12. My point is this time, from a very young age, like I felt distant from other people, or I should say other kids, because there was just this deep pain inside of me. Fast forward a little more to like 5th grade, when I had my first real thoughts of death. Like it really messed up my head in addition to the other thing. So now, mind you, jump to my little drug phase when I was 16 in high school. The point is, like, I never had a phase where I just felt normal ever during my school stint and stuff. So part of being an introvert was just like, well, shit, I can't connect with other people or I can't get close to them, because concerning death and, the other bad experience, it's like, shit, you can never really open up and be yourself in the first place. And when I was on drugs from like 16 to 18, man, I had a lot of time to myself. So I should say that in that time, like, I crafted like crazy ass ideas, just really deep-rooted stuff. And, talking to most other folks, like, I didn't see the opening to jump into that kind of stuff. So as I was hitting an age where I kind of was ready to be more sociable, it's just like all I saw was surface level conversation. And I was like, damn, I can't really fit in again. But again, I'm blaming myself for all of this, by the way. I'm just a really weird fucking person. As I get older, it gets easier, right? Like, everyone's open-minded and stuff. But so the reason I made this episode is because the past 6 weeks, I've actually tried harder to make new friends and go out more than I ever have in my entire life. So outside of being in a serious relationship, concerning friends, I think I've hung out more in this past 6 weeks than I have in like the past 4 years. It's crazy. So just a vent, not a complaint, but damn, it's like hard to keep up with everybody, especially, I suppose, meeting new people and you take in all this information and you're just trying to remember that from the next person, while at the same time trying to catch up with your other friends. It's just, I suppose I'm not used to it, that's all. Maybe it's a matter of time management. One thing I dislike right now about myself is, I don't know if I'm trying to impress new people. What I would call it is trying to adjust to new personalities. The part that I don't like is I feel like I have to sacrifice too much of who I really am, and whether it's hiding it, withholding it, or just me being too afraid to be myself. That's very troublesome for me, very much so. I feel embarrassed because I feel like the vibe I put off sometimes is just straight up desperate. Like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? You want to hang out? Just, it's not my thing, or I should say I'm not used to it. again, even then, when I have an opportunity to get to know someone, I just either the weird side of me comes out, or the part of me that asks like too much deep shit too soon, and I can feel it get awkward. But one thing I do enjoy very much so about being an introvert is I've had a lot of time to address my inner demons, even personal problems as they happen, as they come along. And I'm not trying to down talk anybody, but in certain cases, like I've spoken to people and some of them just said straight up, like they don't like being alone, or they're not used to it, or they can't handle it. And I feel bad. In other cases, you see people go and life challenges them straight up, and sometimes they fold. And I'm not talking shit, honestly. Like, everybody's at a different place at a different time, I suppose. They're growing at their own rate. Thank God I'm not struggling that bad, and thank God that my dependency on other people isn't so much that it becomes a problem, although it is kind of right now. But concerning like dealing with problems, I don't have that issue. But then again, it could be just a matter of experience, as life has fucked with me in more than one way. Hard to tell the difference. Going back to problems, one reason I like being an introvert is because, like, straight up, I am protecting myself, my well-being, my emotions. I don't like dealing with X factors. You could go ahead and call it a lack of trust. It's just, after having been fucked over so many times, straight up, like, it is harder to put trust in people. And that's just the bottom line. So you start to spend all this fucking time like analyzing them, try to see what they're about before you let them in, and all this bullshit. Like, very tedious. Personally, I don't like it, but whatever. I guess in my youth it was more so. It was very selective as to who I let in my life and what I told them about my life. And I mean, growing up, the way I see it is just they're free spirits. Like, I could never expect them to not piss me off or not do something that I won't like at some point or another. And I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm just saying that as free spirits, like, it was unfair for me to have that expectation. Another one of my favorite parts about being an introvert is straight up being a ghost. Like, in school, like, I've had teachers pass me up when everyone was supposed to volunteer. I like being able to walk into a room and just no one really knows that I'm there. To press that matter even further, concerning school, and especially like my old job where there was a lot of coworkers, gossip and rumors, it felt really good to not be a part of that. I don't really mind if people like talk about me. Obviously I can't control it. I suppose the only gripe that I have is when it's misinformation. And it brings me to this fucking channel. I can't stop laughing. Like, I look at the shit that I've posted and the shit that I say, and I'm like, really? Like, if I was to see my channel for the first time, I would be like, wow, this person is really fucked up. I wouldn't want to be around them, like fucking bad vibes, or like a downer for a fucking party. But in that regard, I do sometimes regret putting so much of myself out like this, but whatever, right? Too late. Some of you people even like this stuff, right? It's just weird because this channel and all this dark shit, it was truly intended for those people that are going through similar things. And I seem to have overlooked the part where just the average person was going to see it. So maybe I can come off as like a crybaby or over emotional, whatever. I can't control it, right? But again, this whole introvert thing, sometimes it feels good when you're not in like the social circle, and you're not the talk of the town, or whatever the fuck they call it, right?